Well, it does feel like Groundhog Day. We've been through this a few times. The fact here is that the fundamentals have not changed. The fundamentals are that Russia wants to wage this war against Ukraine and will only stop if stopped. That is, they need pressure to stop them. And what we've seen with round after round of efforts at negotiations, incentives offered to Russia, some sanctions placed on Russia, diplomatic talks, different formats, different plans, but the fundamentals have not changed. So everyone's looking for some easy way out where we negotiate, Putin's reasonable, and we have a deal. There isn't going to be an easy way out. Putin wants to wage this war, and he has to be stopped. If you remember during the Biden administration, the phrase that they used all the time was, "We'll support Ukraine as long as it takes." So meaning taxpayer money, no strategic goal, no end in sight, just keep going and keep going and keep going. Trump has turned that on its head and said, no, our goal is to end the war. Now, in addition to that, President Trump doesn't really seem to care where the lines are on the ground. Just get it over with, is his view. Stop killing people, just get it over with. Uh, he also, I think, wants to get to a point of lifting sanctions and rebuilding cooperation with Russia. He doesn't want to be in a permanent position of confrontation with Russia. It's understandable as well. And he, of course, doesn't want to see the US and Russia drift towards nuclear confrontation. So all of those things are allowable. The problem here is that Putin is not playing Trump's game. Putin has the desire to take over Ukraine, rebuild the Russian Empire. It's what he views as his legacy, his history, his sense of what Russia is due. And he's not going to stop just because President Trump and others think it would be reasonable if he did. Putin is not going to go there. He is going to keep fighting. Look, Russia launched this war voluntarily, seized Ukrainian territory, and that is disputed. Now, it's not ideal to have Russia occupying part of Ukraine, but I think at this stage, after such a bloody war, everyone will live with the fact of Russian occupation. But the moment you recognize that this is now Russian territory, you've created a legitimization of the use of war to change borders and acquire territory from other countries. That is something that would be very tempting to a lot of countries around the world. And it would also be tempting to Russia to do it again. Like it started in 2014, as you said, with Crimea and Eastern Donbass. Then they decided that they wanted all of Donbass, and they decided they want Zaporizhia and Kherson provinces as well. So now there's 5 provinces. And if they get all of that legitimized, then they're going to say, okay, now we want more. And they could also take a look at Lithuania and Poland and say, you know, there's a piece of land here that should connect Kaliningrad with the rest of Russia, and that's not ours. So we should take that. And it should be legitimized as well. We're going to take it, and we want you to recognize it. So this is a very slippery slope to get on to start legitimizing the seizure of territory by force. I think the thing to remember the most that we don't hear much about in the media is that Russia is in a far weaker position than they want us to believe. They have not been succeeding militarily. They are not advancing and taking lots of land in Ukraine for years now. They kill civilians, but on the front line, it is Russian soldiers who are being lost by the thousands. Their economy is in very weak shape. The Ukrainians have been successful at disrupting oil refineries so that a resource-rich country like Russia is actually having gasoline shortages because the Ukrainians have been knocking out refining capacity. This, among other things, has driven up prices in Russia, so inflation is very high. Their access to foreign exchange reserves is going down. Interest rates are very high, and everybody in Russia knows this. So Putin is not in a very strong position going forward here. This is why I think he's in a bit of a hurry to get a negotiation where he is handed on a platter what he can't take militarily because he knows his position over time is eroding. So that's the most important thing to know.